Welcome to today's art video, and I'll be using graphite but in a wet sense. So let's just briefly look at exactly what I'll be doing and the things you'll need. This is ox gall. It's a wetting agent for watercolour to make it wet, and what you will do is, I've already got some in there, so I'll not be putting too much in, is I get a knife and be very careful and literally scrape a good portion of graphite off of this graphite stick. Then we'll wet that. It does actually go back to a dry powder. The reason why I haven't used gum arabic is it can go quite solid, but with this it makes it wet, but it does go back to a powdery substance after. And I'm going to use this cheap throwaway brush really to create a very brushy, slightly abstract feel to the picture that I'm doing. So let's crack on with it. I just put a little bit of this liquid in. Oh, that might be a bit too much, but if I put too much in, I'll just put a bit more. In fact, I will put a bit more in because that is a tiny bit too much. Right. So that's that easily resolved, and let's just so we basically kind of made a graphite ink. And I've got some more here that I might use for drier stuff, so let's see if we can make a start with it. What I'm going to do is do a very basic animal. So if you don't already know now, it's either an horse or obviously a very abstract version. As you can see, you can get some really nice effects from this. It's something I'm looking to doing a lot more of. See if I can get some of this drier stuff in. And it just adds that extra dimension to a painting, in the sense that if you were to try and draw this with graphite as a pencil, it'd be incredibly difficult. But with these nice brush strokes that you can get, and it does lend itself, especially this brush, it lends itself to that really nice spontaneous kind of feel. I mean, it probably would look nice with a splash of colour in this, but it's just a brief video, this, so just to show you what I've been doing experiment wise. And I think for the time being that basically is the picture. Like I say, it's just an example of what you can do. Now I have got one or two things just to show you that you can do with this. Apart from that, if we go back to my experimental first piece of work, you can incorporate in the actual paint itself, you can incorporate bits of colour. So if you colour the water originally, what you work with, it can actually stain the colour, and obviously different brushes will give you different effects. If we look at the what you can get colour range wise, you can go from a fairly dark black right through to this point here. And as I'm going to show you now, this is all dry, but if you get a reasonably good rubber, just like normal graphite, you can rub a large amount of it out. I'm not saying you can rub all of it out, but you can get there or thereabouts with it. And even this light stuff, that will rub back a bit. So for me, this is a real success, and that's where I got the horse from. I played with the horse a bit. See if I can do a bit of rubbing out. So yeah, have a go at this. It's a really interesting technique, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. All you need is, like I say, some of this ox gall. If you're a vegan, don't use ox gall, use the synthetic ox gall that you can get. Some graphite powder, or a bit of your graphite stick, and scrape it off like I did, and a cheap brush. Don't use your best brushes with it, because it could get clogged up. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you again on another video. Bye.